It's good to have you stay with us on Daybreak this beautiful Monday morning. And like we earlier said before we went on break for the news, we told you that we are bringing to the front burner the issue that is making the rounds in Nigeria today, talking about the CBN cash limit withdrawal policy. It states that as an individual, you can withdraw just 100,000 per week, and for corporate bodies, 500,000. You can withdraw more than that actually, but there is a clause to that. We'll get to know about that as the program progresses. And to do justice to this all-important topic this morning, we have Tom Aigbogun. He's a financial analyst. Mr. Tom, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And we have our barrister who has been talking with us, Tim in Bejume Esquire. Thank you for coming.
Thank
again.
you very much.
Quickly, I want to ask our financial analyst here, Tom Aigbogun. Please, there are still many Nigerians who yet do not have a grasp of this all-important policy by the CBN governor on cash withdrawal limit. We want you to throw more light on that. What is it all about?
Okay. To start, let's go back to the basics. The Central Bank of Nigeria, which is the CBN, they are mandated by law to manage the economy of the country. And the best way to do this is to influence the money supply, which means the amount of money in circulation. Because when we have too much money in circulation, it's in a way causes what we call inflation, which is the arbitrary rise in prices of goods and services, which affects the average man in the streets, especially those who are with fixed income. So every now and then, the CBN look at the economy and think of the best way to make sure the economy is moving very well and everybody are better off. And in their own wisdom, they just come up with this policy of withdrawal limits. This withdrawal limit is not something that is new. Before now, as far back 2012, which is 10 years ago, they actually started this policy of the cashless policy, which we all know about. This limit they just brought about is kind of the final stage of the policy they started 10 years ago. It has been on. They started the pilot with Lagos and the major cities. Now they're now bringing it home to reduce the money that is spent in the economy. And the best way they believe that could be done is to reduce the amount of withdrawal. You make either across the counter, through the ATM or POS, so that if they're able to mop up the money from the economy, they can control the inflation rate that we are experiencing presently, which of course we and I know is about 20%, if not more than. And I don't believe any economy can survive such rate of inflation. So the limit, as you rightly mentioned, is 20,000 naira per day. Then of course 100,000 naira per week. So which means if you are going to withdraw 20,000 naira per day, you can only do that only 5 times in a week. Then for the corporate entities or organizations, that is 500,000 per week. So that is to limit the money that flies around in the economy, because we have so much money, it has an adverse effect in the economy. So that's that.
Well, it's okay. Our responsibility here is to be able to enlighten the public and make them understand all of these policies that people that are being saddled with making sure the economy works, also carries the people along, talking about the populace or the people of Nigeria. Now, let me direct this question to Barrister Tim. As a legal practitioner and advocate of the people, we have the understanding that at least 70% of the Nigerian population live in the rural areas.
That's true.
And most of these policies can be directed towards the elites, people who live in the urban areas or like the cities.
That's true.
There can always be a challenge of policies that people in government or the elite or political class enact that becomes suspicious or distrusted by the downtrodden. 70% of the Nigerian populace live in the rural areas. Petty traders, farmers, people who just sell one or two things to live, to make a living. Now, what is the difference? Now, some of these people can just not accept. We're talking because we have some level of understanding. We are not, educating city dwellers or the elite class alone. What can be the defense legally, or what do you think could be done that was not properly done? Because the thing to them can be so abrupt and resisted. So, what is your take?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me tell you that by the law establishing CBN, the CBN Act 2007, they are autonomous, they're independent, and Section 2 of that Act, CBN Act 2007, Section 2, Paragraph A to E, enumerated the objectives, the powers of CBN, what they are supposed to do. And one of them is for them to formulate policies, monetary policies for the economy, which they've done. There is no doubt about that. They have the power to do that, and they've just done that. But how be it? These policies, before the law, are not absolute. They have the power to make these policies, because within their power, they can bring in frameworks to make sure, like my brother here rightly said, that yes, trying to maybe bring down the inflationary trend that is going in this country. No blame about it. But there are other issues. First of all, like you said from your analysis, that 70% of Nigerians dwell in the rural areas. And I will tell you that almost 80-90% of Nigerians do their normal transaction, because cashless society they are trying to introduce, I will tell you, we are not right at this material time. Because I was asked a question recently. I said, how many Nigerians have bank accounts? If you are talking, yes, the policy may be directed to the elites, but how many Nigerians have bank accounts? You go to New Benin Market and ask the woman selling pepper or selling rice or selling onion, or they are hawking rice and beans along the road, that you are buying onion, you want to transfer into his account because we are going to cashless society. No. Let me tell you, the people will definitely resist any policy that will bring hardship to them. It's within the confinement of law that, yes, you can challenge any authority, any law, even laws made by National Assembly, laws as absolute as they are. You can challenge laws made by National Assembly at the court. There are plenty of cases where the court have nullified laws made by National Assembly. Not to talk of policy. Policies are not absolute. Yes, CBN have the power to bring in policies. Yes, for instance, there are plenty of authorities before now that if I deposit my money for the bank, the law says it's a debt the bank is owing me, that they act any day I demand, say I want 2 million naira from the 10 million I have in my account. Refusal to give me that 2 million naira will incur liability for the bank. So on that premise, some persons can also go to court, because at this particular time, they have the locals to go to court and challenge the bank, say, oh, why I asked for 2 million naira? You said because of CBN policy, which is not absolute law, that you cannot give my 2 million naira. They are at liberty to go to court to challenge the CBN policy. But I bet you that before or after the 9th day of January 2023, you will start seeing processes. Lawyers will start filing action against CBN and other related banks, because as a result of, because it's going to actually going to do what they are trying to achieve. I'm not sure the CBN did not take appropriate evaluation of the entire system before rushing into the conclusion. Like he rightly said, that this policy, cashless policy, started since 2012. We agree, because there were limits to it. But now that he's saying, as analysts, he's saying this is the conclusion of the cashless policy, and we know it's going to act adversely on us. We have the right. If I go to the bank and I requested for 300,000, you said no because of the CBN policy, you are not giving my 300,000. I have the right to go to court to challenge it, because there are a lot of authorities on that. For instance, Ademuliyu and Africa Continental Bank have expressly said, if the bank failed to give you your money that you deposited with them, that they are owing as debt to you, at the mine, and they fail, the bank will surely incur liability because it's your money. But howbeit, there's a restriction from the CBN regulations, which they have the right to do. So at that time, when we get to that junction, I know we'll cross it. Definitely, there will be a lot of litigations here and there in federal high court when they fully implement that policy. Before I conclude, I'm sure that from now till 9th of January, there's still time for CBN to also review their policy. Because at this time, we know Nigerians are shouting everywhere, no, we are not right for this, it will not work well for us. Because if you weigh the advantage of what you are trying to, yes, the inflation, the other way to curb inflation, apart from restricting the excess cash within the society, there are other ways of curbing inflation, which the economists or the analysts is here. CBN can adopt any other way, but this one will not actually. I bet you it should not.
Thank you, thank you so much, Mr. Thiem. You've just given us an insight into some of the fireworks we are going to be experiencing come 9th of January 2023 regarding this cash limit withdrawal by the CBN. Our financial analyst, like what the barrister was explaining now, that I have my money.
Yes.
I walk into the bank and you're giving me conditions why I shouldn't have my money at my disposal.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to find out, sir, is you're restricting me to 100,000 per week.
Yeah.
And here I am. I need money for some projects. I need it as urgently as possible. And you're telling me that I need to pay certain amount because there are exceptions to the withdrawal limit. That means I have to pay certain percentage to be able to access more than the 100,000 required in a week. So what are these exceptions? What are requirements?
Okay, thank you. Before I go into that, I would like to throw a little reaction to what the barrister just analyzed for us.
Okay.
It is good. He mentioned from the beginning that the CBN is autonomous, which means they are independent. They are mandated or they are empowered by law to carry out these monetary policies as they deem fit at any point in time, looking at how the economy is going, either up or down. Now, he's very right that everybody, you have the right to go to court to challenge anything you believe that is not in your favor. It is allowed in the law. And when you do that, CBN don't work in isolation. They have their legal department. They must have done their legal framework before they jump into the market to do what they are doing. I know they will not make that mistake. Of course, they expect all this reaction and maybe litigation from the barrister angle and all that. So they must have put their house in order. Then again, going forward, if you're talking about reviewing a policy that has not even started, it's not done that way. You put a policy to play, take a certain time to do a review, to check the social impact assessment before you say, okay, let's review or let's not review. And CBN actually said that it's subject to review, but it has to start first before they do that review. That's for that. Then for the charges you need to pay, CBN still gave a window. Okay, good. These are the limits we are setting out. But it should happen that peradventure that you need more than that, either in case of emergency or wherever and all that. Of course, you can still come. We are not putting a kind of a ceiling that you cannot go beyond this withdrawal limit. You can still come, but you must come with a very cogent and valid reason why you want to withdraw more than that. And I tell you, the procedure that will be laid down, if you really do not need that money, you wouldn't want to pass through that process because you have to apply, maybe the MD of the company or you as an individual, you apply to CBN, the certain department in the CBN will have to approve and all that. They will do what we call KYC on you, know your customer, know your business. You submit all sort of identification, documentation to really know you as a person and the purpose for which you want to spend that money before they were approved for the money to be released to you. And in order for that process not to be abused, they set a certain percentage, kind of, I will call it the kind of a penal charges that you have to pay to enjoy that benefit. And for individuals, if you want to withdraw more than 100,000 in a week, it is expected that you pay 5% of the face value of what you are requesting for. But there's still a cap. You can't do more than 5 million. and that 5 billion can only be once in a month. Then for the corporate entity, I think that the cap should be about 20 million or 50 million, I can't remember, but it can be done just once in a month. Okay? And for the corporate entity, you pay 10% of the face value. So these are measures to discourage people abusing society windows be provided in order not to negate the entire purpose of even bringing out about this monetary policy. The fact is this, we have to try and understand that the CBN is not against you. I mean, whatever they are doing for the economy, and we all make up the economy. And there's something called financial inclusion, because whatever the CBN is doing right now is to achieve that aim of financial inclusion, so that that young, that market woman who is selling tomatoes or crayfish in the market are brought into the stream of the financial system so that they can benefit from the goodies in the financial system. For example, the man selling crayfish or tomatoes in the market, they do this business for the money they borrow from people at high interest rates and all that. They can't go to the bank to borrow. Why? Because they don't have bank account, as the barrister actually said. We have a lot of persons outside the financial system, outside the banking system, and it's not working well for the economy. Because recently, CBN now discovered that more than 85% of the money they thought was in the economy is actually not there. People are holding it down because measures were not put in place to control all these things. And when you have more than 85% of the money in circulation not in the banking sector, then there's a problem. Because whatever policy they try to put into place to control that money supply through the commercial banks will always come back blank, because the money is not actually there. And whatever policy they throw in there will not yield the desired result. So that was why this redesigning of the currency, the demonetization they call it, and the reason why they did that is to pull the money back to the banks so that they can actually influence the money in supply and control the inflation we are talking about, because inflation affects everybody. So I don't believe any sector of the economy of the elite, as the case may be, or the downtrodden are being targeted. No. By the time we're able to actualize this full cashless policy, we must have pulled the downtrodden, as they are being referred to, into the banking system, to the financial system, and they'll start benefiting from the multiplier effect from the system. So we have to be patient. I will give a very perfect example. Kenya is supposed to be a small country compared to Nigeria, but the economy of Kenya is as cashless as close to 80%. The market woman who sells things in the market, you can go there and buy things without actually giving cash to the market woman. They use what they call M-Pesa. Okay, I think it's something, it's like what the CBN is trying to do through this in-naira stuff and all that. They call it M-Pesa. With your phone, it doesn't have to be internet enabled. With your USSD, you can actually meet the woman, buy something of 200 naira and do the transfer. That is operating in Kenya and is very, very seamless with them. If Kenya can do it, why can't we do it? Well, we agree with you that the CBN or the government ought to have built our infrastructure in a way that the person in the market or the person in the village can actually access, if not for anything, the internet, so that they don't have to be burdened with the option to say, okay, what do I use to do this transaction and all that. There's so much suspicion in the system, again, because like I told you, this capital policy started 2012, 10 years ago. Why are we still having misgiving in the system? Because enough information has not been passed across to the public. Now you guys are doing your own bit, trying to sensitize the public and all that. But the government have an agency that ought to have been doing this before now. You didn't need to be doing this. We have the National Orientation Agency and all that. Since 2012, how come the public are still not abreast with what the CBN is doing? So it creates a lot of suspicion in the system, because a certain part of the department of the government have not done what they need to do, and the government have not fully actualized their drive or aim of building the infrastructure on which these policies can ride on. But when those things are all there, of course, we will have problems.
Now, let me take this question to the barrister. Tim Bridgman. Can we take this now? Bridgman, right. It is clear that all of us know the disposition of the present state of Nigerian economy.
That's true.
Today, as we speak, a lot of people are distrusted in the system.
That's true.
Most people don't seem to be confident about what these policymakers and CBN policy and all of that. Now, to many people, they will think, like the financial analyst was trying to say, they will think that these people have come again with a system or a policy to dehydrate the downtrodden. The economy as we speak now is not quite encouraging. People are suffering in the land. Now, to the people you're talking about, it is good it's a cashless state. You mentioned Kenya and why it's going to work. You cannot really think comparatively, the population of Kenya cannot be compared. We have from a very difficult terrain in terms of population largeness and distrust. There's corruption also in Kenya. Now, my take is that with the present economic decadence in the country, inflation very high, people don't have money in their pockets. Look at the animadris or the malams, these money changers in the black market. How are you going to control the volumes of money? You're talking about 20,000. These are people that put their monies in the fridges. They stock it up there in connivance with some of this, your CBN, financial expatriates that you are seeking to defend by policy. There are so many things that we have seen by policy that doesn't actually work, because there are always people who are there to sell out or to make it defective. 2012 to today, why is it that it's now? Because from one of our papers reviews this morning, the Punch paper says that it's going to reduce the spending of political parties during the campaign. Is it now targeted with the people having bullions in their backyard and having money? They don't. Most of the political parties don't need to go take money from CBN. Some of the bank officials can bring the money to them in the night. So what is your take? How defended is the ordinary man in Ubegu, the illusory market trader that has a small bank in his small place there? Most of these people don't believe in POS. When they sell, they put their money in their oja. Their oja is their little bank they tie around their waist, or the person selling some stuffs in New Benin. So how do you marry all of these issues at a time like this?
Thank you very much. You see, like my brother was analyzing the issue of CBN policy. Good, fantastic. Nobody is saying CBN does not have the power to do that. They have. But like you asked, my question is that how many percentage of Nigerians are even literate to use a little phone to do the little transaction you're talking about? Now, we're talking about network coverage. Do we have total network coverage of the entire country so that you can even access, forget about the internet, but you can even have the network to your Nokia small phone in the village so that you can do this transaction? How many Nigerians have bank accounts? Compare. We have over 200 million Nigerians. Let's ask CBN. I think they have the entire bank account is, they have it now with CBN. Let them tell us the ratio of Nigerians who have bank accounts. So these are things they are supposed to, first of all, analyze and before they come up with policies. You cannot bring policy that is unmaxed to the people, because Nigerians we have a high rate of illiteracy in Nigeria. Maybe compared with Kenya, you discover that Kenya government took time to educate their people, analyze this, and put infrastructure on before you implement such policy. When the infrastructures are not there, you know the people are not even educated. Like he said something like, what is happening to national orientation that is supposed to have taken this since 2012 up to now? People don't know about the cashless economy. Now, let me ask my brother a question here. Is it, let's look at the inflationary trend today. Is it as a result of too much money in circulation that caused the skyrocketed price, or because we are dollar dependent, we are importing almost 80% of our consumptions, we import them from other countries, and our exchange rate is with dollar, not with naira. Mm-hmm. Recently, I read that Ghana said now at this particular time they are not going to trade, their international trade is not going to be based on dollar or cedi, but they want to use their gold. They want to use their gold because yes, for international trade. Now we have oil here. What stopped Nigerians from saying no, we are not trading with dollar? Because the excess of this inflation is as a result of rising dollar. If we are a productive nation, mm-hmm. when there is rise in dollar, it doesn't affect us because we are not importing. It's when we are importing that is when you talk of exchange rate. I'm telling my analysts here that the cost of the inflation that we are experiencing now is the rise in dollar. That is it. It's not too much money in circulation. Although I'm not also advocating that this money should be in circulation. No, I'm not advocating that. CBN policy, they are good, fantastic, but they are breaking this policy at the wrong time because they've not done their homework. If they done their homework, they know that the man in Igbo village who is farming his cocoa farm has not even gone to Benin City for the past 2-3 years, not to talk of account. And once he's selling his goods, he will tell the buyer, where's my money? How much? 200,000. How much? 200,000. He will keep it with himself. And he spend the money from there. He doesn't know if he wants to send money, he will send money to his children or whatever in cash. That is what he knows. How many persons that CBN sent to this rural area to educate them? You don't just bring a policy and just put it on people, no matter how fantastic is that policy. People will resist it.
Can I have to stick on Mr. Agbo as a financial expert?
Yeah, very well.
Now, look at it from the analysis of the lawyers and all of this holistic.
Yeah, that's exactly what
every policies that nations, come up with or whatever should be so that we benefit the people that can be acceptable. Now we are from a very defective system. Many things are not working in Nigeria. We are not pretending. Everybody is filling the page. Now, the POS system, there's joblessness. A number of our youths have gone to work as POS agents because there's no job. And what are they paid? Stipends, 7,000, 8,000. Some of them PIFA money, they lose their jobs. So they're all in the street trying to make ends meet, reducing crime or reducing whatever. Do you believe now, from this point of view of service delivery or carrying people along, now if you come up with all of these CBN policies that you are trying to defend, now who will now account for the more than 70% of our youths that are POS staffs doing some jobs to make a living? How is the society going to take care of them? And what is going to be the fallback upon the society? In your environment where you are coming from, you must have taken some money from POS. It's a quick cash delivery. They call it point of sale.
Yeah,
now, you want to scrap all of these things because you have a policy. So what is your defense as a financial, in the CBN? It is clear that the barrister's position has said is good. But it is coming at a time when we would have been talking about other things. So we always like to do the things in the wrong time, dehydrating people, frustrating people, because we are thinking where we are going is we are going to have a lot of reactions. Barrister talked about people going to court. How many people are literate enough to, to galvanize energy to take any system? People are not interested in things like that.
You don't have the fund to do that.
The fund to go about it. He's talking because maybe some people can come to him as clients. And very few people. Very few people. So
people that would just trust the system that much. Thank you very much. What the barrister said, to a very great extent, is correct.
Yeah.
But again, as a financial analyst, we try to address issues without emotions. We take emotions out of it. We must face reality. What do we intend to achieve? Of course, in anything you do, just like war, what we call collateral damages, there must be some people who will be affected for things to work very well. Okay? It's a normal thing everywhere. But again, for these POS operators, I have taken my time to look at the whole system and I asked myself, what is the impact on the POS operator? I don't think they will be affected adversely.
How?
I will explain. What the CBN is talking about is withdrawal. They have not told you you can't do electronic transfer. And on that transfer, I don't even believe there's a certain limit attached to it. If I thought there is an open space where you can actually do transfer.
No, excuse me.
Yeah.
Between transfers and withdrawals, you're talking about transfer, you can transfer because you have the money to volumes of money that doesn't have restriction.
Yeah.
Between transfers and withdrawals, which one do you think that the activities that people participate in daily, do people do more transfers or than they do more withdrawals?
Before now, or even as at now,
Yeah.
they do more withdrawals than transfer.
Good.
Because that is what is obtainable and that is what is allowed. You see, people tend to react to what is obtainable in the system.
No, they do more withdrawal because they need the money.
Let me tell you why it's like
quick
that.
cash pass system.
Of course. Why do you need withdrawal?
Because you need the money
To do what?
to dispense.
To dispense. No, I'm heading somewhere.
Some services.
To dispense and to purchase goods and services. If I want to buy, for example, bread of, let's say, 1,000 naira,
Yes.
okay? If I'm going to buy bread at any point in time, I don't think I will buy more than 5, which is like 5,000 naira. If I withdraw 20,000, I should be able to buy some of those few things. By the time I want to do a transaction that might exceed 20,000, okay, I should be able to meet the POS operator. I say, okay, I want to pay this Oga 30,000 naira for what I bought from him. This 30,000 naira, please transfer this money to him. They can do that.
That's the cash you are bringing in.
Yes, the cash you are bringing in. Yeah.
Then where did you get the cash from?
If you don't have the cash and you have a bank account and you have 200,000 there, you give the POS your card. Please debit me 40,000. Transfer it to this man.
And what is the percentage of people having 20,000, 200,000 in the account? Now, what you said.
No, sorry. You said where do you get the cash from, right?
Yeah.
See, let's get this thing clear. Let's take emotions out of this.
Listen, sir, we are looking at the percentage of people that can operate at your level.
No,
at the level you are explaining. Now,
hold on.
Just hold on, sir. You gave an example that you want to transfer. It's easier to transfer cash volumes than withdrawals. You already know that CBN is coming, Metro is coming up with system that say you cannot take more than 20,000.
Yeah.
That's a delimitation or whatever cashless value. Now, the money you are transferring, you need to withdraw, or you say you have an account, you have some volumes in the bank account. Our system is failing. How much do people actually have as remain
Let me answer that. The people that don't have enough money in their account to transfer,
yes,
they don't even need 20,000 naira in terms of withdrawal. If you don't have the money, you're not going to withdraw more than 20,000. So why is the person complaining that you are restricting the person to 20,000 when you don't have it? I don't know if you get the idea.
Yeah,
for the low income earners, okay,
which are the
majority, they withdraw 5,000, 10,000 at every point in time. Before
daily,
now,
yes.
Daily. Before now, their level of transaction or withdrawal has not even capped at 20,000. It's below 20,000. Even as I am now, as a person, whenever I want to withdraw, I don't withdraw more than 10,000 because I try to say if I withdraw more than that, I will just spend it. I withdraw 10,000, 15,000. It's only maybe when I'm going for bulk purchase, I'll say, okay, let me take as high, maybe 50 or 100. But that money can actually be transferred to the merchant you want to buy from. So anybody that feel that maybe they don't have that amount of money to do the transfer, that person ab initio don't even need up to 20,000 naira withdrawal. So there shouldn't be any contest.
We have always had a network challenging issue.
Okay.
With our telephone lines and all of that.
Yeah.
We're talking about, what you're talking about is a system that is working.
Yeah,
There are so many things that are defective. Telephones don't connect. It took a lot of energy to get you online.
Yeah.
This morning, it took you a lot of energy. There's always a disconnect. Now you're talking about e-transfer and all of that, transferring money. I have tried it out in many of these POS, whatever. You can go a whole day trying to transfer money and it doesn't work because of networking program. Don't you think that we have to operate in a system that is relatively
a perfect system,
working,
so
not
to
perfect,
say. Yeah,
working.
working system.
There are areas that we need to look at because what will make the system work is when so many other things are working. We're talking about cashless e-transfer. It's easy to have a phone. You have some money. You have been trying to do a transfer for one day. It doesn't go. That is frustrating.
Very
what do you have to say concerning those issues?
Thank you very much. When I started my analysis from the beginning, I did mention about the government building the necessary infrastructure for these policies to ride on.
Before now that they're coming about policies or what? Is it now that they're going to be...
No. I'm coming. I said I did mention that they ought to have built the enabling environment, the enabling infrastructure for these policies to ride on. And if you ask me, I don't believe they've actually done that. And you mentioned the issue of network. I mean, how many parts of the country is actually covered by network, like the barrister rightly said? Those things are not really there. The policy beautiful, but the infrastructure have not been built to an extent where they can actually accommodate all these things. So that is where there's a gap. Okay, there's a gap there anyway. So I would have expected, if you ask me, the policy is not a bad one. The timing might be wrong because they've not done their homework to put in the infrastructure for this policy to float or ride on. So I think that's where the gap is.
Mr. Tim, Mr. Tom, you really hit the nail on the head that actually the homework has not been done, like the barrister has been agitating about since. Let me give you a breather for a while. Barrister, the Nigerian economy, as of today, as of this minute, depends largely on cash flow from small businesses. And these are people that can business will just come now. they need to pay for their goods as soon as possible and keep going. And you're telling me that I have certain amount to withdraw, I can't go beyond. Can this impact these small businesses negatively, this policy?
Of course. Let me tell you what will happen as from January 9. Let me tell you, the money CBN wants to move out of circulation. Let me tell you, these people will hold on to their cash, and there is risk attached to it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot ask a market woman who the entire business, this is no more than 200,000-300,000 naira,
Yeah.
and you are asking that market woman to that, oh, I'm buying something of 20 naira. I don't have cash. I've exhausted my cash, and these things are necessaries that I want. I want to buy Maggi or salt, for instance. The 20,000 naira, or I have exceeded my level of cash for the week. Say individual at most 100,000 for the week. That is, say you withdraw 5 times in a week. Now, if you exceed your cash limit and you want to get just ordinary salt that is sold for 20 or 50 naira, at that material time you are cashless, you are asking the market woman, please send me your account number, let me transfer. They will tell you, please leave my goods here. So is it not going to work cash to the people? Definitely, that one is certain. Like I said, that CBN will still sit down. We still have about up to about 1 month to it now. Let CBN do some feasibility studies, because they didn't do it before they just jumped into this their policy. Like he rightly said that they said their target is the politician. Let me tell you, somebody in 2019 general election, they said one politician there was bullion van in his house. The politician was interviewed. Sir, we learned and we heard that there were bullion vans that bringing excess cash to your house. He answered, is the money your money? That was the answer. He said, it's my money. It's everywhere. So what are we talking about? The politicians, they say they want to target them. Will you tell any of the politicians, and let's take any of those who are contesting the presidential election, that they need 10 billion cash, that they can't get it? They will certainly get it. So they should forget about all those trash. What we want CBN to do in conjunction with the federal government, like he said, let them put the infrastructure on the ground. What's the infrastructure? And also, you must enlighten the people. Let them be these national orientation agencies, put them in their local government areas, villages, start educating them. It will take you 1, 2, 3 years to do. And you bring in all these persons, the market women, try to encourage them to open bank accounts. Do all these things. Once you know that you've achieved up to about 80 or 90% of what you want to achieve, then you are bringing in this policy, no problem. Like Irani said that in every policy, people will definitely suffer. So he's bringing in the Machiavellian philosophy into it, say the end justify the means. No, at this particular time, he's going to bring hardship to the people. My people in Obageno, close to Abudu, who are rural dwellers, they deal on palm oil. They produce palm oil in jerry cans, and we are coming to buy the palm oil from them. And they tell you that I have not been to Benin City for the past 5 years, and there is no bank within the vicinity. How many banks? All banks are centered in Benin City. Let's take Edo South Senatorial District, for instance. Apart from places like Okada, where you can get one because of the university, look at other local government headquarters. Is there any bank there? Do you expect people to travel even from their village, come to town and open bank accounts? No. These systems, these infrastructures are not there. So we are not right for this cashless policy. We are not right, but it's a good policy. Anyway, it's a good idea. I subscribe to it, yes. But we are not right. See, it's a good policy that is coming at the wrong time. Okay. Let CBN go back, do their homework, carry everybody along, so that at the end of the day, many Nigerians will be happy that we are doing this. Yes, it will do a lot of, yes. In terms of the risk in carrying cash, it will reduce that. Yes, it will curb inflation, but I disagree. I'm not an economist, I'm a lawyer, but I disagree totally with the economists that withdrawing the money in circulation will cut down the inflation. No, I disagree. They know what to do. If today naira is equivalent 800. Yes, 8 naira is equivalent to just $1. Yeah, are you not telling me that withdrawing the money in circulation will make dollar to come down? No, that parameters. Yeah, what is happening to our foreign reserve? What are we producing? What are we exporting? Those are issues that you have to put in place so that the inflation will come down, because we are dollar dependent economy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So if the dollar crash, no matter how, if the dollar crash today, I will tell you, inflation will come down. Irrespective of the amount of money in circulation. Yeah. But that is, see, for him, now them go school. Now he's analyzing it's theoretical. Just that book they tell us here. In
you are talking
sense,
reality.
what we are talking is reality, not telling us that Kenya did this so time, US did this so time. You go to, for instance, go to Europe, you want to do shopping. Everything you need, they have organized market. Then you pick everything you need once. You pay through your point of service or whatever it means you want to. But do we have organized market here? You go to Libini, you go to Oba market, you go to Etosa. There's some women who are struggling to, they'll tell you they don't even, if you give them phone, they don't know how to operate the phone. Yeah. That highly illiterate. Let me tell you, go to the north. I think one of the right members is already challenging this cashless policy. But his people in the north will be the worst hit. Here you have almost 80% level of illiteracy. Even for them to, they don't know, their own is, they are using for years, their own is to just pick the call and dial number. That is also. If you tell them to take further step, operate the phone, they don't know how to operate it. See, why you not trying to separate this set of people from the society so they will not do their business anymore? So what will happen is that CBN is going to get a counter reaction from the people.
All right.
Yes, of course, that's what they say.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Our financial analyst, Mr. Tom, I'm coming to you again. I believe you relaxed a little bit now with all the questions we were throwing at you. Now, you painted a picture in one of your earlier explanations that has to do with if you're going to withdraw more than the stipulated amount by CBN, you're going to go through a process that's going to be very tough. You know, as you were explaining that, I was going to put myself in the shoes of some Nigerians who are going to be worse hit by that explanation. They'll fill form, they'll meet this, you get the letter gets to this boss, get to this, and you go around, you're sweating. Sometimes to use the ATM in the banks, it's like you're going through, you're walking through nails on the road. Now you're coming to tell me that to withdraw more than the stipulated 100,000 for me as an individual per week, I have to go through some certain processes. Outside that, sir, these percentages are going to be accruing from the money I'm going to withdraw outside the 100,000 for me as an individual per week and 500,000 for corporate bodies per week. Who gets the percentage? Is it my own bank that I'm banking with or the CBN?
Okay. Let me get something clear. I'm not an advocate of CBN. I'm only looking at everything from the economic and financial angle and why we need to do what we have to do. The point is, no matter how things may appear to be, either positive or negative, we must have to start from somewhere. We must be courageous enough to take some certain steps, no matter how they appear to be, and test the water and see how it's going to turn out. If it doesn't turn out well, then we can review. If it turns out well, then we can proceed, because the cashless economy, to me, is a global thing and is working very well in the more advanced economy and all that, who of course they have the infrastructure like we said, which we have not actually achieved, okay? The point is, we cannot just chicken out because of the adverse effect or the adverse reaction we are expecting from the public. We must test the water. Then for the percentage, I'm not really very adverse to where it is going to, but from my own experience, is the CBN charges. It goes straight to the CBN and not to the bank, because it's not a bank service per se. It's a CBN policy, it is their charges, and it goes straight to the federal government coffer. That is what it is.
You made a statement while you were talking right now that time, we shouldn't shy away from changes.
Yeah.
Yes. The CBN has been agitating for cashless society all these years, talking about since 2012. Now, let me ask you, sir, 2012 till now, is it not enough for CBN to have put on strategic measures in place to cushion this kind of effect when it comes? Because we're going to have a rebound effect concerning this, very strong one, because people are going to start agitating, they're going to start shouting, they're going to start, if possible, they are going to lament, because we are already picturing the kind of hardship that may likely come in terms of going through series of issues before you get another money if you already withdraw the normal 100,000 as okayed by CBN. Now, is from 2012 till now, is it not enough time for CBN to have put together a package of measures to cushion any effect that may likely occur from this kind of policy? Is it not enough?
It's more than enough.
So why are we here?
10 years is a very long time. And if you ask me, this infrastructure we are talking about are not necessarily within the ambit of the CBN to provide, like network. They are not a telecommunication company. They are supposed to work hand in hand with these agencies or bodies to achieve this thing. I want to believe the reason why they waited for these long years, perhaps they were waiting to see how they could achieve a certain percentage where they will deem it fit to say, okay, we can start from now. Because, I mean, there's never a perfect system, and there's no way you can achieve 100% network coverage, even in the advanced countries. So I want to believe there must be a benchmark to say, okay, by the time we're able to achieve a certain level of coverage, we should be able to start and test the water. So I believe that's what they did. I'm not adverse to whatever they did. I don't want to believe CBN as a corporate entity can never undertake a policy or a program without carrying out a feasibility study. There must be a feasibility report that shows the impact, the socio-economic impact of what they want to do before they implement. And when they started this since 2012, they piloted this thing in Lagos and the major cities. They did a review. Oh, we piloted this, what happened? What were the good side of it? What were the bad side of it? Then they have to amend all these things all along for the past 10 years. Then, like I mentioned, they must have waited for a certain benchmark to say, okay, let's test the water. It's only natural. People will always react. I'm not comfortable with it if you ask me as an individual. But like I told you, these things are not emotional. You just have to look, what are the reality? It's operational elsewhere. Why can't we do it? Finally, say, this cashless policy, if you ask me, is actually targeted at the low-income earners, for the benefit of the low-income earners. Because by the time it's fully actualized, and these low-income earners are able to be pulled into the banking system, because in Nigeria today, the unbanked is over 65%. People who are not within the banking system, over 65%. And we have so much money. These people who said 2,000 for 5,000, the money, the aggregate of the money they hold is huge in the economy. And this amount of money is not within the banking system. And I would like to explain vividly. When these monies are not within the banking system, the CBN lose control of the economy. They can't control. If they want to reduce inflation, they can't do that because they are not in control, because CBN can only control the money within the banking industry. The money that goes out of the bank, that is in our hands for trading, or the ones that people are holding down, they can't control it. That is why the redesigning of the Naira pyramid, but they wanted to pull the money back so that they can sit down, look at their balance sheet and say, okay, this is the money we have in circulation. Inflation is like this. Are we going to reduce it? Let's put this amount of money using some financial instruments. Maybe these treasury bills we said and pull the money back into the CBN vault. Because when there's less money in the economy, prices of goods and services will drop. Because when you reduce the money in circulation, it affects my purchasing power. If, for example, there's so much money, okay, I have like 1 million naira, and there's this, maybe I want to buy a property of, let's say, 500,000. I can just go there and say, okay, I have 1 million, I can buy 2, we'll spend it. But when the money in circulation is reduced, and that my 1 million naira is now reduced to like 200,000, and there's a property worth 500,000, and I want to purchase. I say, okay, what I have is 200,000, I don't have 500,000. You say it's 500,000. The second person comes, like 20 customers comes and they don't have 500,000. What happens to that person who wants to sell? They will drop their price because they want to sell. Because they cannot get stuck with their own products. Okay, if that's the case, okay, let's say at 200,000. What happens? The prices of that product has dropped and inflation will follow suit. So if this cashless policy is being achieved at the end of the day, and people are pulled into the mainstream, and there's what we call financial inclusion, these people that be put into the banking industry will now start enjoying the benefits of being a customer of a bank, which could be a form of credit facility and what have you. So in the long run, that's what they intend to achieve. Whether we have the infrastructure to do that is a different ballgame entirely.
Barrister, you seem to have.
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Does going cashless reduce our purchasing power? That is the question. Going cashless, does it reduce our purchasing power? It does not. It's the money you have that, whether it's cashless, like people like him, those of us who are already we are into the banking system, into internet banking and all that, we are already going cashless. We have our ATM. As I'm driving, my ATM is my whatever I want to buy. We are already going to. Does that stop our purchasing power? No, it doesn't. It's the amount of money you have in your bank account that determines your purchasing power. Whether cashless society or cash-free society, it's the amount of money you have in your bank. So I disagree with that, his analysis that it will reduce our purchasing power because there's no money in circulation. No. If I have 10 billion in my account and I want to buy lands, I want to buy everything, yes, we know it's going to be through transfer. I will start buying whatever I want to buy. If I don't have the money, it will also reduce my purchase, but whether I have the cash at hand or whatever I have, whether the money in the bank or the cash I have, they are my money. Whether you said don't withdraw it in cash, but it's still my money.
Now, it's okay.
No,
now,
sorry, let me
okay,
clear something. Cashless economy is different from the amount of money in circulation. When you say cashless, if it is 1 billion we have in the economy, it's still there. But you know that your mode of transaction with that money is what different.
Yes.
Then when you mop money, I was talking about pulling money away from the system by using some financial instruments like treasury bills and all that. You know, when they pull the money out of circulation and the volume of money drops, it affects your purchasing power. Because you reduce the amount of money that is within your limit. For example, now, this limit we are talking about 20,000, okay, per week. It will affect your purchasing power. Because you want to buy something worth 1 million, but because the cash that is available to you, that's for those people who are not, who don't have enough money for international. No.
Even though I have 20,000 in my hand, for instance, as cash, and I have 1 billion in my bank account, well, that won't deprive me from getting what I want. No, it won't. What you are always telling me is that, yes, if I want to get whatever I want to get, I must do it cashless. There's no limit to your purchasing power at that time, or there's no limit to how much you transfer every day. Is there any limit to it? What the government want to achieve is that they should withdraw the liquidity ratio, the cash within circulation. But that does not stop me from purchasing what I want to purchase. Because if I have the money, if I don't have the money, I don't have it. If I have the money, whether cash or in bank, I have it. So what I'm trying to tell him now, that let me ask him a very simple question. Please, can you tell us the cost of this current inflation we are facing now? Is it as a result of excess cash in circulation, or there are other factors that has caused it? Are you now telling us that it's as a result of excess money in circulation?
Yeah, it's one of the factors. The factors that have led to this inflationary rate are many. They are multifaceted. But we have so much money in circulation. You agree with me? The reason why we have this level of inflation is because we are not producing. We are a consuming nation.
Good.
Why are we a consuming nation? Because we have enough money to buy these imports.
No, I disagree with you.
No, hold on. No, let me land.
Because
Barrister,
hold on. They are necessary that we want. They are necessary that we need.
Why?
We are importing sugar, for instance. Is sugar not necessary? We are importing salt, for instance. Is salt not necessary?
Why are we not
We are importing. Thank you. That is a good question. That but if we are producing,
you should have allowed me to land first, because I was getting there. You understand? Because we have the enough money to buy imports. That is why we are patronizing imports. When you have less money and you are unable to afford the imports, what happens? You look inward and say, okay, this import is so expensive, you cannot have enough money. Why can't we produce it? That's what motivates production. You not see somebody.
Let me put it to you now. That
no, hold on. No,
hold on. So before you conclude, sir, observation. Okay. Let me put it to you that those who are even importing or exporting, they are even cashless. Nobody carry billions of naira to import anything. These things are done electronically. I'm buying something goods worth 2 billion from China. Do I carry the cash to China?
No, you are missing it all.
Begin to round up.
Okay.
Begin to round up.
All right.
We have a time limit.
So
now, My question to the financial analyst, just as we, in 1 minute, as we begin to round up.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that we have been able to get through so many things. Our duty is to be able to expose some of these things to our viewers and the general public at large. And we are not in a position to, to present wrong facts to our people. Now, do you agree that between today and January 9th, that Mefele or the CBN is saying that they are putting on the test? You call it, let's test our waters. Do you agree that much can be achieved? Are we going to achieve much, or we are going to attract much troubled waters?
By between now and
January 9th, that this policy is to be tested. Like you said, everything is to be kick-started. What do you think that we can achieve as a nation with this kind of policy at a time like this between now? Are we going to attract more trouble, or we're going to achieve?
Okay, whatever it is going to be a projection, because you will never know what's going to happen. No, I'll get there. You will never know what's going to happen until you actually put something into place. It's going to be a projection. Of course, once this policy commences, of course, there are going to be backlashes. People are going to react. Oh, I don't want this, I don't want that, and all that. But the point is, the CBN, to me, as far as I know, is a corporate entity empowered to do whatever they are doing. They must have put this into consideration and said, okay, this is how we want the economy to go. And we believe if we do this, this will be the resultant effects. And they have to start first, put it into place, look at the pros and cons, look at how people are going to react, and the impact it's going to have on the economy. If it is not positive from their own analysis or from their review, the CBN governor have actually said that they will go back to their desk and look at how they're going to amend all these things. So whether it's going to be positive or negative, it's still left for us to watch and see. No, between now and January 9th, nothing is going to happen because it has not commenced.
Okay.
There can only be reaction or any adverse or positive effect when it has commenced.
So my learned friend, Barrister Benjamin, we have we have been so much educated, and now let's take a final question or a final explanation from you, or like a rounding up. We talked about pulling the people back into the system, or pulling the money back into the system. The CBN is targeting pulling the much money in the middle class circulation into the system. And there are so many, the literacy level in this country is quite high. Many people don't believe in taking their money from them. There are so many people in the rural areas, Urunibi, Ewoisi, Guneki, that don't even believe they need a bank account. They don't believe in putting their money in the bank because of the complications. Like you said, banks are not even there. People don't need to travel from Abuja to Benin to open an account. You don't think that there could be hitches. How do you pull this money back? Because you say that's what they are targeting, that you have much money in the system.
Let me tell you,
from now
till January 9th, let me tell you what the people are going to do. The money they said they want to put back, many persons are going to hold this cash with them because they know. Yes, of course.
You can't do that.
Why?
When you're redesigning of the Naira, you can't hold money anymore.
No, what we are saying now, you are not talking about. We are saying, is there any limit of the amount you deposit to the bank? No, the limit is the amount you withdraw.
Yeah. When
the redesign of the money is still,
it's part of the.
Yes, I know it's the target. We agree, but to answer your question, sir, there are going to be ups and downs in the implementation of this policy, or the CBN no, Nigerians no. So please, what I expected CBN to do is to phase it. As far as they started since 2012, they are supposed to phase it. Like, for instance, let's look at the TSA. For instance, it was not this administration that introduced TSA. It was the previous administration that introduced TSA. The advice is that they should phase it. But when this administration came on board, they implemented TSA. What did it happen? What happened to the economy? Since then, we have not recovered. At least I'm not an economist, but since the implementation of TSA wholeheartedly, the economy went down. Since then, Nigeria has not recovered. It has been one problem to the other.
It's not the TSA that caused that.
No, that he contributed. So what I'm trying to say, CBN have to review their policy, let them phase it. So if it's going to take 2-3 years to phase this policy, by the time we get there, at least everybody will be carried along. That's my own advice.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Tomai Bokun, our financial analyst, for coming and really educating us on this CBN all big time policy on cash limit withdrawal. And also a big thanks to Mr. T. Mbejume Esquire for your own position. I believe you have been educated today on this CBN cash limit withdrawal policy, and you're better informed now, and you know what's expected of you come 9th January 2023. We want to say thank you for keeping faith with us. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time. Thank you for staying with us. And from Kayode,
Merci beaucoup.
thank you.